So, I wanted to talk to you about something that is foremost in the minds of people today, in the minds of students, in the minds of your colleagues, in the minds of your peers, and especially in the minds of the companies that you're going to join down the road. Okay? Let me tell you, the 2 years go by very quickly. They go by very quickly if you're having fun. But there can be a drag if you're not having fun. And what's this thing about fun? Was learning supposed to be fun? Yes or no? Anybody by a show of hands? Should learning be fun? Yes or no? Okay, tell me, young lady, why should learning be fun? Okay. Right? Great. And what happens when learning is not fun? You get bored, you're sitting through the class like a warm body, okay? Living, breathing, warm body, but your mind is somewhere else. So what happens when you're learning and you're not having fun learning? What happens to your mind? Mind gets detached, right? You start thinking about something else. You start looking at your watch. You want to get out of the classroom as quickly as possible. Why? Because you're not feeling engaged. Engaged not as in engaged to get married. That will come later. I'm talking about a different form of engagement. What is the engagement that I'm speaking of? Involvement, participation, anybody else? Being a part of something, interest, anybody else? Commitment. So commitment, interest, passion, being a part of something, right? Who makes these things happen? Does NDI make it happen? Do your teachers give you an injection so you become more engaged? Right? So today we are going to, each one before you enter the class, we'll give you an injection. An engagement injection. An engagement shot. So who is responsible for your engagement? But then if you are responsible for your engagement, why is it that some people are not engaged? Because if you were responsible, you could just flip a switch and suddenly you could become engaged. Why is it that you don't feel engaged? Huh? Not motivated, why? So what brings about that motivation? Somewhere from the outside. So would you feel more motivated if in the beginning of the class, in the beginning of every class, you get a cup of wonderful masala tea plus a samosa? Would that motivate you? So is motivation extrinsic, as in a cup of masala tea and samosa, or is it, is that extrinsic or is it intrinsic? Absolutely, it is both. But if you can have all the extrinsic motivation in the world, all the wonderful positive reinforcements in the world, but if you don't have that bhavna from within you, the desire, the passion, all of those things don't work. Believe me, I've had the experience. I've had the experience of being highly motivated, and I've also had the experience of being very demotivated. So it's a very strange thing. Engagement, motivation, commitment, loyalty. that you want to wake up with in the morning with a spring in your step and a song in your heart? Who right now has a song in your heart? Come on, don't be bashful. Who has a song in your heart? Come on. Come on. Are you saying that in this entire group of such wonderful, talented people, we have nobody that has a song in the heart? Guys, you have a song in your heart? Yes. Did you put up your hand? Who has a song in your heart? Please put up your hands. You have a song in your heart? Pakka? Can you come and sing it? Come on. Come on. Hey, I'm going to come and get you. No, I'm not joking. Please come here. Come on out. Really? You see, one of the things you'll be called upon to do a lot in your life, in your working life, is to stand in front of an audience and deliver a presentation, do a song. Come up to the stage. Let's give her a round of applause. What's your name?
Sanjana Kapoor.
Huh?
Sanjana Kapoor.
Sanjana Kapoor. So Sanjana said she has a song in her heart. So it's one thing to say that I have something, I'm feeling something, but it's another thing to say, I'm going to show it. So let's have a song. I didn't say whether you have to be good at it or not, but you have a song in your heart, right? Share it with them. Okay, come on, share it with them. Go ahead.
When we are happy and we say, clap your hands. When we are happy and we say, tap your feet. When we are happy and we say it and we really want to know it, then we tap your...
Wonderful! Let's give it a round of applause. Thank you so much. You know, here is an example of walking your talk. I could have had 10, 15, 20, 30 hands go up, and many went up. But to have somebody who has the courage, and believe me, it takes courage. You're just starting out your MBA. It takes courage to stand in front of such a large audience and to say, you know what? I said it and I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter whether the song is melodious. It doesn't matter whether you forget the words. It doesn't matter whether you falter. It doesn't matter whether there's background music. What matters is your inspiration and the motivation. So again, let's give it a round of applause. So what was just when you think of engagement, what just came out in those few moments for you? What came together for you in those few moments? Anybody? Yes, ma'am. What's that? Aha, but what can you do in front of such a big crowd? Aha. So it doesn't matter if somebody can sing and somebody cannot sing. Somebody could recite a poetry. The question is, did you hear what she just said? I cannot do it in front of such a big crowd. And what happens to you when you're in front of such a big crowd? And even some nervousness. Sometimes even if you know something, you're not able to do it. Last 3 days, I was just telling Tina Madam and Sangeeta that I was at Nimhans in Bangalore conducting a workshop. Now, there was a workshop, was a mixed workshop. Some doctoral scholars who were just starting out. They finished the first year of PhD. And many of you are going to go on and do your PhD. Hopefully at NDIM down the road, at other institutions. And when you're just starting out, a very arduous, difficult, challenging program like a PhD, you get stumped. Believe me, it's not only you young folks. The PhD scholars are older than you, right? Because they've gone through the bachelor's, they've gone through the master's, and they're doing all of the other work. They feel the fear. They feel the fear to come out and stand up and say, and I wish I had that in front of me, I would read it out to you. And she said, sir, my fear in the workshop was, what would people say? How would I be perceived by everybody? What if I make an idiot of myself? And the next thing she wrote was, I knew in my heart that I knew 90% to 95% of what I was going to say. I also knew in my heart that I would do a good job of that. But I turned the ball over to somebody else. I said, no. I'm not going to do the group task. You do the group task. And you know what she said? She said, I deeply regret having not taken that chance. And I am not going to let that happen. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dare to dream. Can everybody see that? What do you mean by daring to dream? Dreaming of what? Dreaming about your passion, dreaming about something that you want to do in life. Something, having a goal you want to achieve. You want to be the best in your class. You want to come out. You want to take a risk. You want to risk looking stupid in front of your peers. Let me tell you, the dumbest questions in a class are the ones that were never asked. All the other questions were wonderful. The dumbest one was the one that never got asked, either because of the fear, the apprehension, how am I going to look? How are others going to judge me? What are my teachers going to say? What are my peers going to say? What am I going to say about myself? So it never happens. And you know what? The 2 years will go by. You will not take a chance. And you will deeply regret it, because guess what? You get a job today. There is very little learning curves down. You have to perform. Does anybody disagree with me? In today's day and age, do they give you a lot of time to get up and running? Maybe a little training here and there, but they expect you that once you've come through a master's degree program, that you have certain skill set. And one of the skill sets that they look for is platform skills. How to be a good speaker, how to engage an audience, right? So again, we get back to the topic of engagement. So once again, what is engagement? What does engagement mean to you? Anybody? Right? Does engagement also somehow entail being engaged with the place of learning that you're at? Or are these just bricks and mortars, walls that you come, you interact with students, and you go away and you never think about that again? The house of learning. This is the temple of learning. Your engagement also starts here. How engaged, how enthusiastic, how interactive you are with the teachers that teach you day in and day out. Not only just with your students. It's great to hang out with your students all the time, but also with your teachers, with the staff, with the chairman even. I know, I've known Dr. Bansal now for over a year and done a lot of work. I'm an adjunct faculty here also. I know he has an open door policy, and the love that he has and the passion that he has and the statesmanship that he has, I have seen very few people today have that. He has such an open heart. And his first criteria is my students should learn, and they should learn in an atmosphere where they feel safe. So with engagement comes another concept. It's called safety. Can you feel engaged somewhere if you're not feeling safe? What is the safety that I'm talking about? Anybody? In the back somewhere. What? Okay. Anybody else? Safety. What is the safety? So you feel safe that if I falter, if I don't know something, I can turn to someone for help. So there's a feeling of safety. You feel secure in yourself. Anybody else? Wonderful. What's your name, sir? What did he just say? What did Sushil Kumar just say? Huh? You know what? It's another form of hazing and bullying. When there are certain people who will not let others talk, they will not let others bring their own voices forward. They will be intimidating those people. They either laugh, they joke, they don't pay attention to them. That's the biggest disservice you can do to another human being. It's the worst form of dehumanization. To not treat another human being and not give them the right to their voice. It's a form of oppression. And if there's one thing you can learn from a higher education, is to never put yourself in that place where you have to create a mockery of someone. It doesn't matter whether somebody is disabled or differently abled or cannot speak or cannot walk or cannot talk. That's not all I'm really talking about. There's another form of bullying that happens. And this is the form of bullying that I'm talking about. So when you feel in your class that, gosh, if I open my mouth, somebody's going to jump on me, the next thing you'll do is shut down. You're not going to come out. So what you're doing is, you're creating control in the class, and then you're shutting down somebody's voice. On the contrary, the opposite of that would be someone who encourages others, who inspires others to come out and talk. He says, Suman? No, I'm just making, I understand. I was one. I think Sushil would say, hey, Suman, don't worry. Take a chance here. You know it. You know you can do it. Just don't keep it within yourself. Come out. Share. So what is the topic that we are talking about here? What is the phenomena that we are discussing here? Engagement. So those of you that have not spoken in the back, that have not said anything, not raised your hand, it's so weird because in the back, it's almost as though the last 4 or 5 rows are just sitting silent there. I'm hoping that you're listening. But the question is, are you really engaged? Back there. That lady back there. The last, yes? Don't look there. I'm talking to you. Can you come up to the stage? No, actually, you both, yes. Now that you stood up, please come. Let's give them a round of applause because now they are going to show us. Come on. What is your name? Jagrati. Okay, wonderful. And what is your name? Meenakshi and Jagrati. Okay. So come on here. And you're just starting your MBA, right? How does it feel to start an MBA? Good? Just good? Excited? Just happy? Oh, I'm happy to start. It's so thrilling. Is that what it is? How would you say? How do you feel? No, just excited through words? No, a little more? Little more? No, come here, say. Louder. Excited! So it's just not your words. It's your body language that also shows engagement. If I just say, I'm excited. Are you really excited? Yes, sir, I'm really excited. Sure. So what in engagement, you bring all of your senses together. Your voice, your inflection, your personality, everything. You smile, which you did. You did a good job. How engaged are you feeling? Are you really feeling engaged? Just yes? Come here. Okay, now what is your name? Meenakshi is going to do a little dance to show us how engaged she is feeling. Come on, Meenakshi. Come on. Not look at me. Look at your audience. How can she dance? You want music? Do you really need music to dance? Did I say that you have to do Kathakali? Did I say Bharatnatyam? I just said just dance. It can be just a dance, just a movement. Even a movement can be a dance. A well choreographed movement can be a dance, but so can not a well choreographed be a dance. So how would you say with movement that you're very engaged and that you're excited to be part of there? How would you show to your peers that you're excited, Meenakshi? No, another. That's a good try. Very good. Now, see, one of the things you have to do is you have to try harder, right? You can't just say, I'm excited. Sir, I'm excited. Okay, another one. Give it a good try. Till we get it right, we'll keep making you dance here. So this is your only chance. Okay, this time it has to be really like you jump up and say, I'm excited. Come on. Yeah! Thank you. Thank you both. So see, what happens is, if I am saying I'm engaged, but my body language is saying I'm not engaged, on the contrary, your body language is saying I'm disengaged, what is the result of that communication to others? That you're partly there. So if one of the things you can learn from this little conversation we are having is, bring all of your senses. And you will learn the maturity and value of this as you grow older. I don't expect you to be experts, but you will see that when you bring all of yourself to whatever you do, whether it's an interaction in class, whether it's interaction with your peers, interaction with your teachers or whatever, try to bring all of your senses. You see how she got better? The first time she said, I'm engaged. I said, come on, give it a little more pep. And she said, I'm engaged. It's almost as we're thinking, oh my God, who's the fiancé? Because she got so excited. So way back there, can you make sense of what we are talking about here? In the back there? Or do you just want to be observers? Who out of the back wants to volunteer and come up to the stage and tell us what we've been doing for the last whatever time we've been together, 20 minutes? Show of hands. Yes, ma'am. There you go. Should I? Of course you have to come here. Let's give her a round of applause for taking a chance and saying, because here's where the excitement really begins. Please. What is your name, ma'am? Huh? Simran. Okay, Simran, come here. So I simply said, what have we been doing for the last? See, you could be listening, observing, taking it all in, but then the next thing you know is it's all gone out of your system. So for someone to raise a hand and say, I will step up to the place, I will step up to the stage and share with you what we've been doing for the past 20, 25, 30 minutes. That's an awesome feeling, because you're going to be called upon multiple times in your classroom to share in front of the group what you've learned. Okay? So go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. So from the last 20 to 25 minutes, we are discussing how we should be involved in an activity or anything which we are performing. Because unless and until we enjoy what we do, we cannot be completely successful. To be fully successful, we have to be motivated. We have that dedication to fulfill the task or any activities in which we are involved.
Wonderful job. Exciting. Thank you so much. Wonderful. You know, that takes a lot of courage. In a few words, she captured the essence of what we were doing for 30 minutes. Did everybody see that? How does it feel? How did it feel for you to put up your hand and say, I'm going to lead this segment?
Initially, I was very nervous, but now I have that little confidence in me.
Now she doesn't want to get off the stage. Now she said, Dr. Behal, you move over. I'm going to say, should I move over?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Wonderful job. So engagement is not just about your words, not just about your body language, not just about what you say you're going to do, but actually do what you're going to say. You can say, I can do a lot of things. Yes, a teacher asks you, can you do this? Can you do that? Okay, that's great. Can you show me? And that's where people get cold feet. Remember I was telling you about the doctoral student at Nimans? She got cold feet. She could not come out, and this was not, we've got, how many people do we have here right now, Sangeeta, in our group? 100? 240. And we were only 40. There at Nimans, we were only 40 people in the doctoral seminar. And in front of 40 people, she could not come out. Such was the gripping fear, the paralysis. But when she wrote to me personally, she felt a level of safety and comfort that she could say, I was afraid. She could not say that to her peers. She could not say that to her supervisor, a clinical supervisor, but she could say it to me. And I said, you know what? Today is the last day you're going to use fear, the word fear. From now on, you're not going to be afraid. You're going to take a chance. You're going to take a risk. You're going to look stupid. You're going to get, looks from your faculty. But you are going to find your voice. And what is I'm going to talk about to you next is finding your voice. Can anybody tell me what we mean by finding your voice? Okay. Okay. What is the meaning of finding your voice? It's not as though you've lost your voice. You have a bad throat and you have to find your voice till it gets better. I'm not talking about that, finding the voice. What is it of finding your voice? Whenever we want, wherever we want. Yeah, it's partly true. I want that answer. Was you tired? Very good. Or that's the mechanics of finding your voice. What is the philosophy of finding your voice? What is the psychology behind finding your voice? Beautiful. Now you're coming close. What did she say? When you rise above your own fears, your apprehensions, and are able to confront your own fear. And yes, hey, who doesn't feel afraid? We all feel afraid, right? You can feel afraid, you can be nervous, you can be anxious, but you can put that aside because you have a task to do. So you come in and you do your task, and after that you go and collapse. That's a different thing, but at least you did it. That's one, you've come very close, but we are not quite there. Finding your voice, and I'm going to give you a little hint. Finding your voice in a group, in a class, where you have sometimes students that are more prepared than you. You have very qualified educators here at NDIM who are skillful, who have done this work for many, many years. Confidence to express yourself. Yes, that's great. We are talking about something. I'm looking for something else. Okay. Okay. But finding your voice means what? And at what point do you find your voice? Yes? Anybody at the back? Being noticeable? Yes? To know your point of view? Okay. Who's that? Yeah, go ahead. Aha, please come here. So there are penalties for being right. No, it's not a penalty, it's a reward actually. So, can you tell us what you just said? So, my thing was finding, what is this thing called finding your voice? Hi Neha, how are you?
When you're able to speak your heart, then you know that whatever you are speaking is right, because every time you speak, you know that hate is gonna hate, but what I'm here for, I'll do.
Okay, so to take up your own authority. Now, when can you take up your own authority? When can you set aside the fear? When can you set aside the inhibitions? When can you say in a classroom, and I'm talking about a classroom, now I'm not talking about something outside, that I have read this and I can cite this from whichever author, and I know because the discussion is happening around something, and you say, I read this and this is what the author was saying. Okay. So, sir, I think I'm right. Because I thoroughly read this chapter or read these two chapters. The author is saying, and the teacher is saying, are you sure? And then you say, well, not so sure. That's not finding your voice. Finding your voice. When do you find your... It's all about... Everything that everybody said was great. It was all wonderful and correct. But there's something about finding your voice. Finding your voice happens when you're able to take up your own authority. But when does that happen? Two things happen. Preparation. You put in the hard work. You put in, not to become a brag in the class. But you've gone above and beyond. Not only have you read that chapter, you've gone on the internet, you've done some other searches, you've read corresponding literature on that. And you said, you know what? There is other sources too that are talking about this. Ma'am or sir. And I think I have a good point here. And to be able to, what? To debate that point, but to also have a dialogue in the class. Debate is about win-lose. A dialogue is about communicating. So you're communicating your point because now you have done the homework. A lot of times people don't do their homework, they're not prepared, they just pick up something from here, there that they read, and they come and put it in class. The worst thing you can do, because guess what? You're going to be caught on the wrong foot, because your professors are going to point out that. And then you're going to not going to look good in front of the people. But if you're well prepared and you're confident, that's when your voice just comes out. Now you can be well prepared and confident on day one, but you know what? Maturity comes when you spend the time, when you have the interactions, when you do the lesson plans, when you submit the reports or whatever you have to do. Then someday you find suddenly, magically, your mouth moving. And you say, oh my God, the same thing I was struggling with 2 years ago makes a lot of sense to me. And now I can talk about this. So guess what? What is your name again? Guess what Neha just demonstrated to you all? Did she demonstrate leadership to you? Anybody? What has she just demonstrated to you? She took up her own authority. Anybody else? What has she just demonstrated to you? What's that? What you speak. So whatever it is, did anybody see that she was not afraid of looking stupid? It takes courage to take that risk. That even though I may look stupid in front of my peers, this is day one. But I'll still come up and I will say what I have to say. So thank you so much. That was a great job, by the way. Okay? So what are we talking about today? What are we talking about today? Is engagement now meaning does it make a little more sense to you? Do you think it's important, unimportant, less important, more important in today's day and age? Perhaps one of the most, because you know what? Today's salary packages have gone up than when I was your age. When I was your age, I got 1,500 rupees a month. Whoa, man. That's a high package. 1,500 a month. Today you spend 1,500 rupees on a meal. Probably more than that. 1,500 was a lot of money that time. But we didn't have the computers. We didn't have all of this digital revolution, the internet. You have sources at your command. But with that, we also have invited a lot of distraction. Digital noise, digital distraction, multiple places where we are there at the same time. When you're in class and you're checking your WhatsApp messages. Look, I go to meetings, I see it all the time. Even senior people are checking their WhatsApp message, checking their email, When you're doing all of that, are you truly engaged in the classroom? Because can the professor go to each and every one of the 30, 40 students and say, show me your phones. Are they switched off? Are they not switched off? They're not going to do that. It's an honor system. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So I have to have these notes because what happens is I get carried away. So I forget time, everything. I become oblivious to that. Because you know why? Why? I am engaged. When you're engaged, time is not a factor. But do we have to be cognizant about time? Because your classes can't just go on forever. There is a time when you have to end. There's a time you start, time you end, time you take breaks and all that. So what, with the time that we have remaining, what is it that you want to say? I've done all the talking. How do you feel about entering the prestigious, progressive, wonderful institute, which is going to shape your careers. And some of you over here that are sitting are going to be very senior leaders of the future. You may actually have discoveries, breakthroughs. Many of you will end up in IT, coding. Who knows who's the next big breakthrough sitting here? We never know, right? The person sitting next to you, maybe the next Mark Zuckerberg, who knows? Or the next Bill Gates. Hey, there were people like us, right? So what do you want to say as we get ready to wind down this discussion? Go ahead. There. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Very good. Let's give her a round of applause. Very nice. Very nice. So she was noticing in the backdrop. I was waiting for somebody to say anything about that slide because it's a very passionate slide that I had someone create for me. So daring to dream. Thank you for bringing that up. So just in the few minutes we have left, what is the daring that you have to show? What is the daring that we are showing? Daring is courage. Daring is confidence. Daring is assertiveness. Daring is in taking up your own authority. Daring. Not I dare you. That's aggressive. Daring is the courage, enthusiasm, to do things that have never been done before, to achieve something that has not been achieved before. Right? That's the form of daring that we want to have you bring out in yourselves. Take a chance, take a risk, be affectionate, loving towards all the folks that you're going to be here together with, because some of you are going to leave here with the best friends forever. Let me tell you, I've done this class exactly where you're sitting. The last group that I did, I forget, I took about a year ago or something, or maybe less, but whatever, probably the last group. But some of them have written to me and said that it was so wonderful, things that you had said to us that time, that is so we see coming true in our lives. Some of the people that we were sitting with the next to us, who were total strangers to us, have become such close friends to us today. So reach out to people, get to know one another, help out. If you know something, if you're good at something, help someone who's struggling with something. Believe me, paying forward is the best way you can to give back. Not paying back. If somebody did you a favor, there used to be the concept of paying back. Okay, I'll pay you back. You did something nice for me, I'll return that something nice to you. So now the concept is, if you did something nice for me, I will return that not back to you, but I will reward you by taking what you shared with me, giving the wisdoms that you gave to me, to share it with one other person. And that person then shares it with another person. So all I've done is for you and with you is to share a concept which is really a burning topic. And all I want to leave you with today is, and I see this in students, and it was partly true when I got my PhD also way back when. When you get your degree, you go out into the real world and you forget the institution, forget the temple of learning, where all that stuff happened, where you grew from a person who was cowering in fear to now somebody confident who's joined Microsoft, who's joined Accenture. But you remember, you are a product of NDI. Never ever forget that. And take time out to reach back, whether it's 1 year from now or 2 years from now, 3 years from now, Communicate with those teachers. Send them a word of thanks and say, you know what, you changed my life. Something that I learned from you, I'm applying today. Very effectively applying. So give that as a way of thanking, expressing your gratitude, because that's the best form that you will ever have in learning. So with that, thank you very much. And I really appreciate your time and your attention. And good luck. Good luck and God bless you.